Iran's response has been to fire missiles.
Supreme Leader.
We're doing what we need to do.
Between Iran and Israel effectively end?
Nothing is inevitable. There's always choices.
What happens when decades of cyber attacks, assassinations, and proxy strikes turn into direct missile fire? From the Stuxnet virus to ballistic missiles hitting Tel Aviv, was this explosive war 46 years in the making? Chapter 1. Early Harmony. Iran and Israel, two powerful players in the Middle East, sit roughly 1,000 miles apart, separated by a series of volatile nations and even more volatile history. The roots of Iranian-Jewish harmony stretch back over 2.5 millennia, to a time when modern state borders and nationalist ideologies did not exist. In 539 before Christ, the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon and issued a decree that changed Jewish history forever. He ended the Babylonian exile of the Jewish people and ordered the reconstruction of the temple in Jerusalem. This act earned him a unique honor. He is the only non-Jew ever referred to as a Messiah in the Hebrew Bible. This support continued under Persian rule. Darius the Great, who reigned from 522 to 486 before Christ, reaffirmed the rebuilding of the temple and even ordered regional leaders in Syria and Lebanon to contribute materials, specifically cedar wood, for the effort. These acts cemented an enduring legacy of early Persian-Jewish cooperation, one built on mutual respect and support. The relationship flourished again under the Sasanian Empire, which ruled from Anno Domini 224 to 651. During this time, Jews were granted religious freedom and their intellectual traditions thrived. Most notably, this era gave rise to the Babylonian Talmud, a monumental text that remains the bedrock of Jewish religious law and life. In Anno Domini 614, Jewish rebels even joined Sasanian forces in capturing Jerusalem from the Christian Byzantines, showing that the alliance went beyond philosophy and extended into military cooperation. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the echoes of this ancient friendship could still be heard, particularly during the reign of Iran's Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. After the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, the Shah broke ranks with many of his Arab neighbors by refusing to attack the fledgling Jewish state or expel his country's large Jewish community. Instead, he quietly aligned with Israel. Despite no formal diplomatic fanfare, the alliance was tangible. Israel trained Iranian pilots and supplied military technology, while Iran shipped oil to Israel, crucial during the Arab-led oil boycotts. The two nations found mutual interest in survival and strength, driven in part by their alliances with the United States. For Israel, the Iranian connection helped mitigate its isolation in the Middle East. For Iran, it provided a technological and strategic edge. This pragmatic relationship, while often kept from the public eye, was real, functional, and far from the ideological battleground that defines their dynamic today. But that era came to a crashing halt in 1979 when the Islamic Revolution overthrew the Shah and replaced the monarchy with a theocratic regime led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Chapter 2. Ally to Enemy. The Israeli embassy in Tehran was shuttered, and many Iranian Jews, sensing the winds of change, fled the country. The new regime wasted no time in reframing its political identity around a deep, religiously infused opposition to Israel, now dubbed the Little Satan to America's Great Satan. Death to Israel became a ritualistic chant during national events like Jerusalem Day, symbolizing the ideological chasm that had opened between the two nations. Even after the 1979 revolution, Iran and Israel's relationship wasn't entirely black and white. During the 1980s Iran-Iraq War, Israel secretly sent weapons to Iran, fearing Saddam Hussein even more. These arms deals, part of the Iran-Contra affair, revealed how enemies could still cooperate when interests aligned. But that didn't stop Iran from shifting focus. After Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982, Iran created Hezbollah, a Shia militia trained and funded by Iran's Revolutionary Guards. What started as local resistance quickly became a powerful regional force, launching Iran's long-term strategy of using proxies to confront Israel from Lebanon and beyond. Through the 1990s and early 2000s, Iran's commitment to resistance hardened. Tehran extended its support to Palestinian groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad, which shared its revolutionary ideals and opposition to the Israeli state. The reach of Iran's proxy war was not confined to the Middle East either. In 1992, Hezbollah, acting on Iranian orders, bombed the Israeli embassy in Argentina. 2 years later, another bomb targeted a Jewish community center in Buenos Aires, killing 85 people. These were not just terrorist attacks, they were statements of global reach and intent. In 2005, Iran elected Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, a hardliner known for denying the Holocaust and using fiery anti-Israel language. Tensions soared again in 2006 during the Lebanon War when Iran's Revolutionary Guards were on the ground helping Hezbollah fight Israel. Some commanders even survived Israeli assassination attempts. Chapter 3. The Escalation of Open Conflict. By 2010, Israel shifted to cyber warfare. In a bold move, Israeli agents launched the Stuxnet virus, damaging 20% of Iran's nuclear centrifuges. Soon after, Iranian nuclear scientists were killed in mysterious car bombings and shootings, operations widely believed to be carried out by Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency. In retaliation, Iran ramped up its regional influence post-Arab Spring, strengthening its axis of resistance, a powerful network including Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, Iraqi militias, and Syria's Assad regime. By 2019, Israel launched a wave of attacks in Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon to disrupt Iran's arms pipeline, targeting convoys, depots, and even Iranian oil and weapons shipments via the Mediterranean and Red Seas. By 2021, the conflict moved to sea. Explosions rocked Israeli and Iranian vessels in the Red Sea and off Oman's coast, escalating a hidden naval war. By 2023, tensions between Iran and Israel intensified dramatically. On October 7th, Hamas, backed by Iran, led a surprise attack on Israel, sparking a brutal war in Gaza. In response, other Iranian-backed groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen launched coordinated strikes against Israel. While Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei denied involvement, evidence showed Hamas had discussed its plans with Tehran. In December, Israel was accused of killing a high-ranking Iranian officer in an airstrike in Syria. The situation escalated further in April 2024, when Israeli jets struck Iran's embassy building in Damascus, killing 3 top commanders. Iran retaliated weeks later with over 300 drones and missiles, most of which were intercepted. Israel then responded by targeting Iran's air defense systems protecting nuclear facilities. In July, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed in an explosion at a guest house in Tehran. Israel confirmed its role. By September, a wave of electronic pager attacks injured thousands, including Iran's ambassador to Lebanon. That same month, Israel assassinated Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah in Beirut. In October, Iran fired around 180 ballistic missiles at Israel in retaliation. Later that month, Israeli airstrikes destroyed key Russian-supplied Iranian air defense systems, escalating the confrontation further. Chapter 4: The 12-Day War. After a small break on June 13, 2025, when Israel crossed a long-standing red line by striking Iran's nuclear facilities at Natanz and Isfahan. The war that followed was brief, devastating, and dangerously close to igniting a broader regional catastrophe. The US became directly involved, launching airstrikes on Iran's key nuclear infrastructure at Fordow, escalating the conflict dramatically. Iran responded with missile strikes on the Al Udeid airbase in Qatar. With the region on the brink of all-out war, a surprise ceasefire was suddenly announced by Trump, claiming both Israel and Iran had agreed to halt all military actions. That fragile truce didn't hold for long. Hours after the ceasefire took effect, Israel retaliated for 2 ballistic missiles allegedly fired from Iran, both intercepted, by destroying a radar installation near Tehran. Iran denied responsibility. Despite the brief flare-up, by the following morning, the ceasefire was reaffirmed. Trump ordered Israeli aircraft to stand down, boasting that they would return home with a friendly plane wave. But this ceasefire, while momentarily holding, masks a deeper reality. Peace has not been achieved, not even close. Israel claimed victory, citing the destruction of Iran's surface-level nuclear infrastructure and demonstrating its ability to strike far into Iranian territory. It also succeeded in drawing the US into direct conflict on its terms, an unprecedented moment in their strategic relationship. Iran, for its part, insisted the damage was superficial and that contingency plans ensured continuity in nuclear development. But this wasn't just another skirmish. It was the boiling point of a 46-year proxy war turned real. From silent cyber attacks like Stuxnet to assassinations in Beirut and Tehran to drone swarms and embassy strikes, this conflict has moved from the shadows into blazing daylight. What started with whispers during the Iran-Iraq War now roars across continents. And yet, amid missiles and mayhem, a pause, maybe temporary, came from the most unexpected source: a ceasefire announced on Trump's Truth Social. So, what have we learned? Ideologies can last longer than peace treaties. That proxy wars are just dress rehearsals for something far worse. And that in this dangerous dance, the world watches from the edge.